I've watched a whole lot of get ready with me videos on YouTube, but I never have I ever seen someone film one in their kitchen. There's actually a perfectly good reason why I'm seated between my dishwasher and my stove, putting on my makeup and talking to you guys about why I resell, why I'm self-employed, and more than anything, the difference in discipline and motivation. Why motivation stinks and you don't really need it to be successful in business. Alrighty. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Rachel Strickland. I am an online e-commerce seller. I'm a reseller. I buy things low and sell them high on platforms like eBay, Poshmark, etc. I definitely have a very different style video today. I'm usually like in full glam filming these videos, but today you guys are gonna watch me get to full glam. One of my reseller friends and YouTuber, Belle Resells, recently did a video idea that I've been wanting to do for a long time. To be honest with you, I questioned whether or not there was space in this reseller community for a video like this, but when I saw hers, I had nothing but heart eyes for this style of video. So I asked her if she minds if I piggybacked on that and did my own get ready with me routine while we discuss reselling, business, motivation, being self-employed, and working from home. So please, if you like this video, and if you don't like this video, maybe you will like her take on it, check out Belle Resells. I'm gonna link her below in the description because she has done multiple of these get ready with me routine videos while she talks business, books, and beauty. And I just really love her style of video, so I think you guys will too. I recently got a brand new vanity, and the house that I live in now was built in 1969. The vanity that I have now is actually built in. It's a cabinet in our bedroom. Originally, there was actually a sink there too. We tore the sink out, put on a vanity top, and it just doesn't really serve the purpose. And as we prep this house to hopefully sell it within the next few years, I realized that upgrading the vanity is a huge part of that. My friends over at Home actually just gifted me the most amazing vanity. I have to show it to you guys. I don't yet have space for it in my bedroom since that is going to include something of a remodel, but I wanted to show it off to you guys. It is very beautiful. One of my favorite things about this vanity is the abundance of storage. I knew that I wanted something with multiple drawers so I could hide away any of the products I don't want on constant display, but then it also has the open shelving up top so I can display a few of my more beautiful pieces. I will tell you guys that this cabinet took 2 adults over 6 hours to put together, so it's not for the faint of heart. Lots of little screws to tighten, lots of building. It comes with this stool with a vinyl wipe down top. I'm not going to get that stained up or anything. And then one of my favorite features is that it comes with its own outlet built straight in for my curling iron, my Dyson controls, anything that I need to plug up, even USB ports inside of this. And the mirror, get this, lights up with 3 different temperatures of the light controls there. I think that's fantastic because that saves more space on my vanity top for makeup and for getting ready. This little shelf that's on the side is going to be the perfect spot to place all of my perfumes in my growing perfume collection. I think perfume bottles should be on display. They're absolutely beautiful little pieces of art. So tell me how you think that I styled this. But first, recently over on Whatnot, I bought some Cause dolls. Well, I bought this little shelf sitter pink Cause doll, and I just want to be bougie enough to display this right here on my vanity. Tell me if you like the way that I styled this perfume shelf. Home also wanted you guys to have the vanity of your dreams, so they're giving 20% off to anyone who uses code RS20 at checkout. I have linked everything below in the description. Thank you so much to Home, the sponsor of today's video. I don't know if I've ever been like more nervous to film a particular video. This is something I do every single day, so I don't know why I'm nervous. Just like taking you guys along, and I hope I don't ramble too much. I've already prepped my skin with some moisturizer, so I'm just gonna dive straight in. It's so weird. I feel like I'm on vacation that I moved all my makeup in here for the purpose of this video. More than anything today, I wanted to talk motivation with you guys because I feel like a lot of people look to me for motivation in the reselling community, and I love that. Like if I wasn't a reseller, if I wasn't on YouTube, and I guess I somewhat take the position that I have on YouTube and try to integrate, like I would be a speaker. I would be a motivational speaker. I would want to do something like that. I actually served as a children's church pastor for over a decade. So being on stage and talking to people and trying to change people's lives, you know, that was obviously a lot more important than motivation, but that's not something that's foreign to me. But more and more as I hear people reaching for motivation, I feel the need to pick up a bullhorn here and tell you how much motivation stinks and that it's not really what you're after. Motivation, how could I describe this the best? Motivation is like wanting motivation rather, and seeking that out. It's like wanting the TV guide, okay? Let's say that you don't even own a TV but you want the TV guide. You guys remember like the old TV guides that we used to have? Back in the day. If my makeup-less face doesn't show my age, then talking about the TV guide will, right? So you want the TV guide. You want to know what's on TV with absolutely zero intentions of ever turning the TV on. You don't even own a TV, all right? But you want to know what's possible. You want to know what is possible for you to watch. You want to know what other people are watching, all right? That's motivation. It's not going to do a single thing for you. Motivation in and of itself will accomplish nothing. All motivation does is tell you, again, what is possible. It tells you what is out there, but it's up to you to do something about it. Now, like deciding what I want to watch on TV and turning on the TV, the workload involved in that is next to nothing. There's not really any discipline needed in that necessarily, but you do have to take action. So constantly seeking out motivation in the way of inspiration, getting on Pinterest, looking up YouTube videos about business and watching other people succeed in their life. All you're doing is seeing what's on. Like you're looking at what's possible for your life. But do you have the discipline to take action? Are you ever gonna do anything with that? Like Pinterest they have to be a multi-million-dollar company at this point. How much is Pinterest worth?
Pinterest has a market cap of $24 billion.
$24 billion. And the premise of Pinterest is that people get ideas and they're motivated and they pin them to a board, i.e. their TV guide, all right? And then how many people actually do anything with that? That's motivation. That's why I feel like motivation is so dangerous, because I think that on its own, motivation releases serotonin. I think that motivation, this isn't backed by science. I'm not quoting anyone's research here, okay? But I think that motivation releases oxytocin. I think it releases serotonin. I think it releases all of these like feel-good hormones and chemicals in your body, almost as if you've already accomplished that thing that you're after. Motivation in and of itself is dangerous that way. Let's say that I watched someone's video that was killing it working from home, so much so that they quit their job within 2 weeks. All right, they are so motivating. Their only regret is not quitting their job sooner. They are so motivating that I go quit my job. They're so motivating that I want the life that they have, and I decide to just replicate that. I'm gonna take the first step because, you know, with motivation, you need to put some action behind that. So I quit my job. But then what happens? Who shows up and does the work? Because someone showed up with motivation for me. The Pinterest board was there. The super encouraging video with edgy music in the background, that encouraged me to quit my job. Now who's gonna encourage me to do the work? Motivation can be dangerous if it's not backed by action. Motivation is just the TV guide. It will show you what is possible, and for many people it will never go further than that. Many people will never quit their job. One thing that a lot of people say about like online resellers and online thrifters is that we're ruining the market because we tell so many people what's available and we tell so many people how to do this. But you have to realize that I would say at least 90% of the people that watch videos on reselling will never resell anything. The motivation is there, but I can't give you discipline. I can't give you the dedication to get up and do the work. And if you cannot be your own boss, if you cannot dedicate the time it takes, the discipline, then someone else will discipline your day for you. If you cannot discipline yourself for 8 hours, 10 hours, however many hours a day you want to work, someone else will do it for you. They'll tell you when you're allowed to leave your desk, when you have to clock in, when you're allowed to use the bathroom, the 30 minutes you are allowed to take for lunch. If you cannot discipline yourself, someone else will do it for you. And the truth is, if you can't discipline yourself, you need someone else to do it for you, because how else will you succeed? Suppose you just quit your job because that person that's influencing you quit their job. The rent still comes due. Like everything at the end of the month, you still have to pay your electric bill. So what's missing here? What's the factor that we could add in? The discipline, the dedication, determination. And that is not something that anyone else can motivate you to develop. That is something very personal. The dedication and determination, the discipline to actually do the thing that you were motivated to do is not something that anyone else can impart on you. My discipline comes from my own personal reasons, and your discipline is going to come from your own personal reasons. So I may as well tell you guys a few of my personal reasons and why I am a disciplined reseller, why I am disciplined as a content creator, why I don't give myself another option but to succeed. If I had to stay up all night to succeed, I would do it. Whatever the thing is that needs to happen, my mindset about it is that the only way out is through. We don't quit, we finish. There is no other option. And I think the point at which you stop giving yourself outs and you stop giving yourself other options is probably because you have been at a place in your life where you didn't have many options. I understand that not everyone was dealt the same cards in life, okay? But you do have to play the hand that you're dealt. Whether you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth or you grew up with next to nothing, those are props. Those are the cards that you were dealt. Does it mean that you can't play the game just because you got a stinky hand? No. We didn't have a ton when I was growing up. We had absolutely everything. Make no mistake, everything that we could ever have needed when I was growing up. But okay, so to explain it the best way that I can, my parents, when they didn't have much in their own individual lives, met each other at 16, got married at 16, and had 3 kids by the time that they were 19 years old. I was raised by kids, I tell you. But that always meant not having a ton of extra when we were kids. We had everything we needed. Not one time did I go to bed hungry because my parents were determined to give us the best that they could in our childhood. That being said, there was no silver spoon in my mouth. There was no inheritance. And when I moved out of their house and started out on my own, I moved out with the furniture that I moved out of my bedroom. There wasn't extra. Whatever life I wanted, I knew I had to find a way to make it happen on my own. This kind of reminds me, I was pumping gas once. There was a drain pipe coming down out of the roof. Inside that drain pipe, I saw this little flower. And I was like, there's very little sunlight. We're underneath, first of all, the canopy. And then inside of a drain pipe, a flower decides to grow. The flower had to have sunlight, but it didn't have much. And it needed water to grow. The only water available was literally the dirty water draining off of the roof and onto, like, down into the drain pipe onto this flower. But the flower grew anyway. You understand what I mean? Like, the flower didn't say, oh, I don't have clean water. No one's holding a water can over me and I can't possibly grow under these conditions. Even if the only thing available was dirty, draining water, the flower grew anyway. And I guess that's like the best analogy, the best metaphor I can have to tell you that even if your situation isn't ideal, even if it wasn't ideal, you have the opportunity to grow anyway. So fast forward to becoming a young adult. First of all, this is game changing, guys. Take like a nude or a white eyeliner and do your waterline inside. And hang on, I'll show you real quick. Pause the story for just a second, because I have to show you what a difference this makes. Try not to tug too much on your eye, but look at this. Look how much more like wide open this eye looks than this one. And that's the only thing I've added to it, is a little white eyeliner underneath. Okay, back to the story. So fast forward to me being 20 years old. I was, first of all, bound to determine I was not gonna stay in Southeast Missouri. I moved 17 miles from my hometown, and I still live 17 miles from my hometown. I wanted to live 1,000 miles from here. I wanted to live in California, and I wanted to be an actress. And instead, I find myself 20 years old, unmarried, and pregnant with my first son. We ended up buying a house when he was just 3 months old because, again, we were determined to make better of our situation than where we currently were. But to say that we didn't have much kind of would be the understatement of the year. We didn't have much at all. by the time that he was in kindergarten, we still didn't have much, and I wanted to join the PTO. I knew that that was a way, especially as a really young mom, that I could get involved with his school. And one of the requests that they made, his folder came home the first week of kindergarten and it said, you can join the PTO and the dues are $2. And then also we are collecting money for our fall party, and that is $5. I didn't have money for both. So in order to send him with the $5 for the party, I didn't join the PTO because I didn't have the $2 that it took to join the PTO. My oldest son is 17 now, so this was about 12 years ago. Not really that long ago in the grand scheme of things. I'll try not to get too emotional in this video because I'm supposed to be putting my makeup on, not crying it off. But I remember not having the $2 to send with him to join PTO. My oldest son was 10 years old when I had my youngest son, who is now 7 years old. When my youngest son started preschool, I remember how proud I was to be able to send in the $2 because the dues hadn't changed. It was still $2 to join the PTO, and I was actually chosen as the grade rep for his class, and so I was in charge of organizing all of the parents for the volunteer projects, everyone else that I guess had $2 to join PTO. It's such a full circle moment to go from not being able to afford to even join the program to being chosen as a grade rep. PTO was a lot of work sometimes, but I would never give it up just based off the principle of remembering how bad I wanted it at the time that I didn't have it. You may take for granted being able to send your child to school with an extra couple dollars, but at the time I couldn't do that. I didn't have that. And I was absolutely determined that I was going to do better, not only for me, but for us. I remember taking this picture with my son when he was about 2 years old, and I decided that I was gonna sell real estate. I couldn't afford business card photos, so I took this picture in front of the curtain in that living room window, holding him in only a diaper, wearing a borrowed blazer. It was my friend's blazer, and then my other friend came over and took the picture, and this was the photo that I used for my professional business cards as a realtor. And I just remember looking at him and thinking, like, we're going to make it. And I remember just always promising him when he was little that someday we would have more than what we had at the time. I mean, we were doing the best we could, but we really didn't have much. So I ended up working in real estate for 15 years, you guys. The last several of those years is when I discovered reselling. And honestly, I was on a channel that didn't have anything to do with reselling. It was like a lifestyle vlog channel. And this girl was talking about how she bought something at the thrift store and she was gonna sell it. And it's not because she didn't want it. She bought it with the purpose, like with the intent of selling it. And I was like, wait, what? Because at the time I was thrifting for us, but out of necessity. I was thrifting because clothes were more expensive at Walmart than they were at our thrift store. And you know, with a growing child, you need lots of clothes. So, but I would constantly find items and I thought, man, that's a great price. That's a great brand, but it's too small, or it's too big, or I don't wear that size of shoe. It's a shame I don't know somebody. It's a shame I wouldn't be able to sell that around here. So when I was like introduced to this idea from someone's vlog channel, I was like, wait a minute, people do that? Like, what's the Goodwill bins? And I looked up the Goodwill outlet and I had heard about it. One of my friends who thrifts a lot had kind of told me about it. And I thought, I should go to the Goodwill bins. Where's the closest one around here? And the closest one, you guys, was 3 hours one direction. So it was a 6-hour round trip. And I made the trip. I drove from here to St. Louis, it's 3 hours. I drove up there by myself on a Saturday. I remember I found like Marc Jacobs laptop bag, and I found this little Coach Kristen bag, and just like various things. And I was like, this is epic. And I brought it home and I started selling it on eBay. The only thing, funny story, the only thing I had ever actually sold on eBay was a semi truck. That is so reverse of what someone's experience on eBay should be, but my dad actually needed to sell a semi truck, and so we sold it on eBay Motors, and I had created like the profile for it and everything. That's so hilarious. So that was the only thing I'd ever sold on eBay. So I set up an eBay profile, and I remember the first like designer bag I ever sold was this Coach Kristen, this tiny little crossbody. And then the girl was upset because the strap wasn't as long as she thought. I didn't even care that that she was negative about it. I was just thrilled that I had driven, picked up this thing, bought it because I knew the brand, because I sourced it well, brought it home and sold it for more than I paid for it. Automatically, I was hooked. Like, you didn't need to tell me twice that reselling could be a thing, that it could be something in my life. Fast forward to 2020 and the world starts to shut down, and I needed to have a source of income that didn't involve walking into strangers' houses, because just like everyone else, all of a sudden people didn't want like strangers in their house because we were uncertain about a lot of things. So I started selling weights. I started selling like these used weights, and we flipped them, and where real estate was so uncertain at the time, reselling was there, and I was able to make several $1,000s that first month of the shutdown. I was actually doing better than I had been in the years previous in real estate, but I still didn't leave real estate. Shortly after that, I set up my YouTube channel. I credit the inspiration behind my YouTube channel as Harry Tornado. Like, I watched his channel and I thought it was so positive and uplifting. I thought I'd really like to see more of this type of content, this positive and uplifting content on YouTube. And I thought, well, if you want to see more of that, I don't know if I can do this with my eye closed from so far away. I thought if you want to see more of that, then you need to be more of that. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't just sit back and wait for the type of content I wanted to see, so I started my YouTube channel. The YouTube channel existed prior to that, and you can go way back into the vault and find some super cringy videos. And I left those videos up, but it was aimless. There was no direction. It was just like a place for me to, I don't know what all I was posting, but videos existed, but they didn't exist in the way that they exist now. There was no consistency. I definitely wasn't like treating it like a business. I wasn't aiming at it ever being a business until like 2021. And all of a sudden I thought, man, I'm gonna make this super positive space for resellers to go. I don't have a Q-tip in here and I need to get that spot off. You guys see where I messed up there? Oh well, it may just be there because I don't have a Q-tip in here. But I wanted to make this super positive space. So I did. I made this channel, and my aim was to motivate people. And in the time that I have had this channel, you guys have motivated me. Like, you are my accountability. Oftentimes here on the channel, I have spoken out loud goals that I have for my life, for reselling, for this channel, because when I let you guys know my goals out loud, like the last thing I would ever want to do is fail you. I don't want to not see it through. I never want to tell you that I'm going to do something and then not do it. So I spoke out loud an audacious goal that I had to spend cash on a vehicle several years ago. And if you've never seen my Death Pile to a Car series, it's always linked in the description of my videos, because it is motivating. Again, that motivation can be destructive if it's not coupled with determination and with discipline. And in that particular series, I'm listing 50 items a day, every day for like 2.5 months in order to pay cash for this brand new Bronco. And I was able to pay cash for the car. And I guess that's when I really started to see that there was potential here. And I walked away, I slammed the door, I burned every bridge in the world of real estate, can never return back there, okay? And I needed to do that because I had been holding on to that almost as my safety net even after all this time, even after paying cash for my Bronco, after making more than I had, ever with real estate. I was still holding on to real estate as, again, like the safety net. So I burned every bridge. I decided that I would just go full force into reselling, into YouTube, because I wanted to see if that was what was possible while I was still selling kind of part-time on the side of what my actual career was. Like, what could be possible if I just dove straight into it. If I didn't have some desk job that I was answering to people about why I wasn't there on Tuesday, because I was here telling you guys how to sell on eBay, that's why I wasn't there during the meeting on Wednesday. So I quit dedicating hours of my life to something that was not only not fulfilling, but it wasn't growing me in the direction I wanted to go. I wasn't waiting for anyone to, I think I got some lipstick on my face there. I wasn't waiting for anyone to show up and like with a gift wrap option for me in life, but I could see that there were options there, and I knew that if I just put one foot in front of the other, I would get there. So I think it was July of 2022 that I completely walked away from real estate. And to say I've never looked back, my only regret is not leaving there sooner, because the freedom that I created for myself has allowed me to dive into everything that I ever wanted to do with this channel, with reselling. Would I have had the time to list for 24 hours straight and make a video about that, to Whatnot for a week straight whenever I first started Whatnotting, to do all these crazy reselling adventures that I do here on the channel with you guys? Would I have had that opportunity if I still had like a desk job somewhere? Yeah, probably not. Am I encouraging you to walk away and burn every bridge in your desk job? Yes and no. If the last thing you need, if the last puzzle piece is someone motivating you and showing you that it's possible, if that's the last piece of the puzzle because everything else has panned out already, then yeah, I hope that I could be your motivation to do something like that. But if it's the first step, if you have no idea how you would pay tomorrow's bills or next month's bills if you didn't have the job that you have right now, then no, don't let that motivate you to figuring that out, not to quitting your job. But if again, I'm the last step, if I'm the last piece of the puzzle, I hope it does motivate you. I hope you see that there's options out there. I hope that you can see, again, no one's gonna gift wrap it and bring it to you, but putting one foot in front of the other, there are other options out there. So another really full circle moment here, we're gonna go back to my oldest son and not being able to have the $2 to afford to join PTA when he was in kindergarten. He is now a high school senior. He is about to graduate, and kid is full of motivation and determination and works really hard. I'm so proud of him and the young man he's became. And I know that part of that is because he knows what it's like to not have it, from when we didn't have it, from when he was younger. But guys, this is, again, such a full circle moment. So we're gearing up for his senior prom, and he wanted he had a really cool idea to wear like kind of a retro inspired suit for prom, a tuxedo, something he could keep as well. So I took him to Dillard's a couple months ago and I just let him shop. The same child that, again, not having $2 to pay for PTO, I just let him pick out whatever he wanted, and I didn't look at a single price tag until he was done. I know for a lot of people that might not be a big deal to say I bought my kid a formal outfit or was able to buy their tuxedo, but knowing that all of this thrifting journey started out of necessity because we couldn't afford Walmart clothes and I couldn't afford the $2 for PTO, to bringing him into like a higher end, for us anyway, department store and allowing him to just pick out whatever he wanted. That is the most beautiful full circle moment that I could prop in front of you guys as motivation to be determined, like motivation to have discipline. Because at no step along that way, at no step along that journey did anyone show up and put the work in for me. Nobody was ever here dragging me out of bed at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to get started. No one was making me stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning. Although I would tell you guys about those types of things to keep me motivated and to have accountability, nobody was making me do that. There's nobody standing over your desk as someone that's self-employed. You're not going to get rode up if you don't put in the work. You can take hours long lunch if you want to. That is both the beauty and the tragedy that is being self-employed. Because it's the beauty, because that's why you're self-employed. Never work so hard and have such a ridiculous hustle that you forget why you wanted the freedom of being self-employed. But also never get so relaxed in your business that you forget that you're self-employed. That means you're your own boss. So act like the boss. So show up as the boss. Don't relax more on your own dreams in your own business than you would for someone else's. Because if you can't clock into your own dreams, you will be forced to clock into someone else's. Hear me on that. I'm going to say that one more time. If you cannot motivate yourself, if you cannot be disciplined yourself to get out of bed and clock in to your own dreams, you will be forced to clock into someone else's. I think that we need motivation in being self-employed, but more than that, I think that we need a little bit of hard love. I think we need some tough love to say, do the work, be disciplined. I am by no means wealthy, well-off, rich person, but I'm not where I started either. And I know what it tastes like to be poor. And I don't ever want to go back there. And I never want my kids to have to be there. Now, with a caveat there, I never want my kids to have so much that they don't know what it's like to not have. Because I will tell you that it was not having the $2 that lit a fire. It was in the lack. It was in my lack that I developed a passion for changing my circumstance. It was never because anyone handed me anything, and it was never because of what I had. It was because of what I wanted. I wanted better, and I feel like I'm in the position that I've wanted for a long, long time, but I can see now even more opportunity that is on the horizon. And to say I'm motivated seems to cheapen it. I am disciplined though. I'm disciplined, and I will keep trudging forward because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And you know what? Sometimes the marathon hurts. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's an ultra marathon, all right? We're not even stopping at 26.2. Being self-employed is such an ultra marathon. Guys, it's gonna be hard. There's gonna be blisters. There's gonna be a lot probably happen along the way. You might even become injured, but it doesn't mean you won't finish. Martin Luther King said, when you can't run, walk. And when you can't walk, crawl. No matter what, just keep moving forward. I guess that's truthfully the only way to get from here to there. Just keep moving forward.